Hey, it's Ann from Priority Focus Life, and today we are taking Henry to the vet to prep for Mexico life. Well, to prep for flying to Mexico, because that's the thing, right? Is that what we're doing? That's what we're doing. He's so excited. He wants to go play with other dogs.
Can you hold him?
Other dogs. The dog that can't play with them. What are you doing? All right, excuse the mess. Do you see that? There's still more stuff in the RV. Like, I don't understand how such a small RV can have so much stuff in it. This is my first time flying with a dog. Never done this before. So just from this perspective, as a newbie, I bought tickets for me and Alex to go to our destination in Mexico. And then I called the airline that I got the ticket with to figure out how to do the dog side of the house. It is advisable to call in advance so that you can tell them what kind of dog, his weight with the carrier that you're going to put him in, and the dimensions of the carrier. You will also need a proof of vaccinations. For Mexico, it is specifically rabies and distemper. I feel like I'm saying that wrong. Anyway, so those are the two main ones that they care about. And then a certificate of health. So you can get this through a couple of places. I chose to get it just directly through the vet, and the check itself was easy enough. There was no concerns in terms of Henry's health. So we finally got it. I think it's good. The cost for booking the flight for the dog depends on whether you're flying internationally, and it depends on the airline. So I got my tickets through Aeromexico. However, one of the legs is through Delta. So I have to pay Delta $200 each way for the dog. Because it's international, it would be cheaper if I'm flying Delta, within the US, if it's domestic. And then Aeromexico to fly within Mexico is about $52. Depending on what the currency exchange is. So each way, I'm calling it $260 for the dog. He's able to be under our seats, so that should be easy enough. I am not looking forward to the 7+ hour layover that we've got in Mexico City. I have no idea how comfortable that's going to be for the dog if he's got to be in his carrier the whole time, because it kind of sounds like he might have to be in the carrier most of the time, but we'll see. I'm not looking forward to it. Alex is going to be exhausted. I thought about getting an Airbnb or someplace for us to go, but it's just so much hassle with a dog. I'm just saying, if you don't have a dog now, don't add him to your life. Just don't. It's too much trouble. He's currently upset because he wants to play. So I'll go. He wants attention. He's like, why aren't you playing with me, Mom? Why? All right, so gotta go. Bye. Please.
It's safe to keep it open the entire time, right?
So the animal inspection area at the Mexico City airport was crazy easy. I had to show the health inspection from my vet. I had to show proof of his shots, his vaccinations, and then I had to fill out just a little form that said where I was going to be while in Mexico. Just for their record, they made a copy of my passport, so future I guess they can track what they need to track, but they do have to see the dog. But he didn't really do much with Henry aside from make sure that it matched the description of the paperwork that I brought with me. It's happy to be out of the cage for a minute. Hi, Pooch. We had to go outside, try to get the dog to poop or pee, but this dog is not in the mood right now.
He's like, no, I'm not.
So we're giving him a little bit of food, a little bit of water. He's glad to be out of the crate at least. So that's good. But something I did in Mexico City, which I didn't do on purpose, but I'm so glad that I ended up doing, is we actually left the terminal area. And so we were in the airport, but not like behind security. Well, in the airport, they let me have the dog walking around, which was awesome for Mexico City. So for about 5 of the 7 hours, Henry was not in a cage, which was, again, just very beneficial for his sanity, for my sanity, because there's no way he would have lasted. I will say, however, that Henry refused to go to the bathroom. Even after 5 hours of not being in a cage, he just knew that we were in this weird transit phase, and he just was not willing to go to the bathroom. So that had me a little worried, but as soon as we got to Merida, when we got to Merida, after I got the luggage, after everything was good, we went outside to wait for my Airbnb host to pick us up, and he wouldn't even pee like just outside, which I was glad for, because at that point I didn't necessarily want him to pee, but he waited till we crossed the street and I found a tree with some grass around it, and that's where he peed. He let out a ton because he needed to go. So for Henry's sake, I'm just very glad that we were not in the actual airport terminal the entire time. And for the Airbnb side, the only thing I would probably recommend that you do that I didn't think to do is, in addition to letting them know that you're bringing a pet and the size of the pet, all that, is informing them that it's an inside or an outside pet. So Henry is definitely an inside pet, and that's something that I think my host was not expecting. So he was expecting the dog to always be outside. So that's been just a little bit of a I won't even say it's a conflict per se, but it's something that I'm aware he would rather the dog be outside. And so I try to be really cautious of where the dog goes when he's inside. I don't let him have like free reign of the Airbnb, just because I know the host is uncomfortable with that. So he pretty much is either with us, like, roaming around in the room when we're here, or with us if we're, in the living room, kitchen, whatever, or he's outside with the other dog, or he's in a crate if we're not with him in the room. So that part is an adjustment, and I think that is hindering maybe Henry's ability to fully adjust to Mexico. And it's much harder in Mexico than it has been in other locations that we've had Henry. But overall, super easy process. I was really worried that something would go wrong, that he would have to be quarantined and yada, yada, yada. So overall, it was okay. It was more mentally stressful before the flight than during. And again, the fact that I was able to let him out of his crate for those 7 hours, well, for 5 of the 7 hours, was so helpful in just having everyone be a little more calm. And like, can you imagine walking around with your dog in a crate for 7 hours? Like, no. That would have been impossible.